Welcome, welcome. What's up, friends? My name is Todd Cook. First, I want to say thank you so much for joining us on the Foam and Friends podcast, where we sit down with people just like you to talk about the spray foam industry and our lives as SPF professionals on and off the job. It's a podcast for us and by us in an effort to bring like-minded people together. Please like, subscribe, and follow to ensure you don't miss any episodes or a chance to get to know your fellow industry professionals. All right, let's get this thing started, shall we? My guest today is owner of Polar Insulation in Stockbridge, Michigan. He's recently taken on a role as a tech rep with UPC and a professor at UPC University. James Christie Jr., how are you, sir?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. What'd you do over the weekend?
Hung out with the kids with my new role. I'm traveling a little more, so hung out with the kids, wife, and sat by the pool.
You got a pool?
Got a pool. And then,
so you got it open this weekend, or was it before?
Opened it the weekend before. I knew it was going to be nice, and then now it's 60s, so it's not so nice, but
it's fantastic.
Then I did a little fishing. Took my son Detroit River and pulled some harnesses for walleye. So we caught a few.
Did you?
Yep.
Sweet. That's awesome. So Polar Insulation is the company you have. Did you start it yourself?
My grandfather started it. We started as a wet spray fiberglass company.
Okay.
My uncle was a national trainer for Guardian out of Albion.
Guardian
Insulation.
Oh, okay.
Fiberglass plant. Now it's known as Knauf.
Okay, sure.
So he was a trainer, go around the country, train companies how to install. And so my grandfather was a builder and was getting too old and decided to venture off in insulation.
And so we got into spray foam.
So
this was a while ago, right?
2001, we got into wet spray fiberglass. And then in 2002, we bought a foam rig.
Wow. And so you said how old are you right now?
30. I'll be 36 on Tuesday.
And you were doing this as like a teenager.
13
years old.
Yep.
You were around spray foam at 13 years old.
Yep. We'd
and your parents are okay with that.
After school, he'd pick me up and we'd go spray jobs or weekends. I was the only one that sprayed.
Your grandpa didn't do it?
No, he didn't spray at all. He actually we had a machine. It was called the green machine. Back in the day, it had tanks, kind of like an E10.
Okay.
And we had a hand pump from 55-gallon drums into the tanks. So my grandfather would stay in there and hand pump while I was spraying.
So one person was doing that the whole time.
Yeah, we eventually found out you can get electric pumps and stuff like that. But for a while, we hand pumped.
Wow. Wow. That's an old way of doing it.
Yeah,
that's
what's interesting. With some forearm strength.
What did you do? Is it mostly new homes or?
Yeah, we did a lot of mostly I'd say 95% closed cell. We started with some open cell to start. A funny story on the first house I ever actually sprayed myself. Around 1,200 square foot ranch. We sprayed with open cell. Zero training whatsoever. So
right.
I think I had like 37 or 38 bags of trash just from over the studs.
And that was open cell. Yeah. So you were, yeah.
So I had no clue, just spraying and figuring it out.
So where'd you go from there?
We started getting a little bigger. So my grandpa still never had another sprayer. It was me and then my brother as he came up. He was a couple years younger than me. We can get into that, my brother, later. But then my uncle ended up actually quitting his job at Guardian and going out with my grandpa. So they were partners, and he sprayed some, and then it would be me and weekends, my brother as well. And then we kind of grew and upgraded our equipment and kept growing. And then I graduated high school in 2006. I worked for him quite a bit during high school. I took some time off. I was trying to fall out of love with foam, I would say, get away from it. But for some reason, always sucked me back in. So
the trade. I mean, it's probably the best paying job you can get if you know the trade. So yeah, I hear you. So Grandpa never sprayed.
He would pick up the gun here and there, but he wouldn't. He didn't care to do it. He just was. He was a businessman.
Oh, okay.
So
he was a little more white collar than.
Yeah, he built houses. He framed houses for 30 some years. Yeah. So that was his gig. He's like, I don't really care about the insulation, but if it'll keep you guys going, then let's do it. So
That's an awesome thing for him to kind of set you up with a skill and trade, and then you end up taking the company over later.
Yeah, so I ended up eventually he stepped aside. My uncle took it over, and then in between 2011, it was 2011. I bought my uncle out, bought the equipment and the name, and then my brother and I ran it. So my brother and I were partners. He ran the cellulose side really because we got more into cellulose and foam. So he ran the whole crew. I did the business side of things, scheduling, bidding, all the operations.
Oh, sure.
2019, I tried to step away from the foam industry again. I became a corrections officer for the state of Michigan.
Really?
Yeah. So I took that job on. My brother actually passed away in 2019 in August.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
So I kind of quit the corrections and went back into foaming full time because I would, work into corrections at evenings. So I'd bid all day, scheduled stuff during the day, and get material around, all that stuff.
So what got you into corrections in was that, well, maybe the military?
Yeah, so I was a master at arms in the military.
What does that mean?
It's military police. It's
okay.
The Navy's version.
Okay,
of
so you got your training there.
Yeah, and so it was always something like that's actually what I'm in school for is criminal justice.
Okay. You went to where'd you go to school?
I did the 3-in-1 at LCC.
Oh yeah, I went there too.
So that was always my goal, but obviously foam brought me back. So why
so what was it? Well, first of all, you're talking about corrections. You were in the prison, like Jackson?
Yeah, Jackson, yeah.
Wow. And that must have been an interesting job.
It was an interesting job for sure. And I always joke because my brother was wild. He was a wild guy. So he wouldn't have believed in COVID no matter what. Like it wouldn't have been his thing.
Okay.
When he passed away he passed away in August of 19.
Okay.
So I got out of the prison before COVID happened.
Oh.
So like that was a terrible time to work there.
Yeah, we got lucky there.
Yeah, so I mean it was luck, getting out of there, but
you brought a couple of beers with you.
Yep.
Let's try them.
Perfect.
And then we'll get back to this corrections and Navy and all that. All right, what do we have here?
This is a Sheboygan local Michigan beer, dark cherry blonde ale.
Man, tell you something about cherries real quick. My dad was over this weekend. I lived in my house for 7 years, my wife and kids, and my dad's just a nature person. We're walking around. We went to this parade, and he goes, "Yeah, you got that cherry tree over there." And I'm like, we do have a couple of apple trees, but they didn't even produce fruit for like a few years after we lived there. He's like, cherry tree. I'm like, what's that? We don't have any cherry trees. He's like, yeah, that's a cherry tree out there. And I mean, we mow around this thing. I've trimmed it. It's not like it's a hidden tree. I look out there. There's something growing. I'm like, I guess it's a cherry. Maybe it is. He's, oh yeah, it's cherry. Yeah, it's cherry for sure. And then he's walking around later on. And he sees this other tree. He goes, yeah, you got another cherry tree over there too. And I'm like, come on. So I look at it, and sure enough, that one, I'm pretty convinced that one really is a cherry. Actually, the first one probably is too. But anyway, so we have a lot of cherries in Michigan. But this is a this is a dark cherry beer. Love it. Have you had this before?
Yeah, actually, my wife picked
really
it up for me 2 weekends ago. So
Sam Adams is like the cherry wheat is the one I usually go to. That's my wife loves it too.
One of my favorites, and that's actually, if you know, that is made with the Traverse City cherries.
This one is.
The Sam Adams is.
Oh, I think I heard that.
Yep.
I think it was written on the bottle once. I think I read that. So yeah, love cherry beer. It's good stuff. All right, so the corrections.
Yep.
What made you go, yeah, I want to go back into foam?
So it started with my wife worked at the hospital. She was a medical assistant for quite a few years, and she just wanted, we had younger kids, and so it was kind of a thing. She wanted to do her own thing, so she started a nail salon. She went back to school, got her license to do nails, and started a nail salon. And so she carried insurance.
Oh,
so we were paying insurance for a while, and I said, I just started more thinking of my future. the crazy thing about my brother, right? So he always had jokes and sayings, and he said, by the time we're 35, we're going to be out of spray foam. Like we're going to find, he was always making deer targets, coolers, trying to find ways to
little side hustles,
do something to get out of spraying houses every day.
Yeah.
Well, the day that he passed away is the day I found out I got this job when I was 35.
That's the day you found out you got the job.
Yeah. So it would have been 4 years that he passed away. And that's when I got the job on the day he passed away.
And that was, what was a car accident?
No, a tractor accident.
A tractor accident.
Yep. Yeah. So he was young. He's 3 years younger than me. So he bought a house and some land, and he was clearing some property, and tractor rolled on him.
Oh my gosh.
So 29.
Dang.
Yeah, it was a real blow. Like I said, we were best friends, obviously, but partners, and
it
was business. It was crazy for a while. So,
and that was 19, you said? 2019?
Yeah, 2019.
Wow.
So then I actually had a really good group of guys. I mean, obviously my wife, she's amazing. And
what's your wife's name?
Molly.
Yep.
We've been together since we were freshmen in high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we've been married 15 years last March.
Wow. High school sweethearts. That's awesome. And you have 3 kids?
3 kids, 13, 10, and 6.
Okay.
Boy and 2 girls.
Wow. You're busy.
Busy.
Yeah. You said you're into sports and all that.
My son plays basketball, travel basketball, and then he plays football, and he's running track right now. My middle daughter, basketball and softball. And my youngest, that's all she wants to do is play basketball, but she's too young. So she plays a little bit, but she also rides horses.
Riding horses is expensive.
Yeah. Yep. It's not cheap.
My daughter's kind of into that a little bit. It's not too bad. They just go to a arena, I guess they call them, and she goes there once a week or something during the school year. But she's only like 7, so she's not into the big stuff. But yeah. Hay wasters.
Yep, exactly. Hay burners, my grandpa used to call them.
Well, so with your company, Polar Installation, so what are you? Well, first off, after your brother passed away, then what? Then it's just all on you. I mean, you just kind of inherit the other 50%, or how'd that work?
Yeah, so it was never written agreement and whatnot. It was a mutual. I mean, I paid, everything was financed through me and all that, so that wasn't an issue.
Okay.
It was just a mutual agreement, that we split everything. And like I said, I still sprayed here and there, but I wasn't spraying every day.
Right.
So yeah, then I just kind of picked up, and him and I were the only sprayers really ever until he passed away. And then I hired a sprayer, and he was with me for a while. And then my guy that's still with me now, that he's been with me since then.
Okay.
And so he's been spraying 4 years or so.
Wow, that's a good long time to have a sprayer. It's not bad.
Yeah, he's a real good kid. He's known me a while, and we mesh well together. So.
And so, is that all you guys are doing? What were you spraying, open and closed, just closed?
Yeah, open cell, closed cell, cellulose, fiberglass. I got into doing some, like 2021 or 2020. I got into doing some Dollar Generals. All over the state.
That probably kept you busy. Those things are everywhere.
I had a buddy that a connection with that, and he did all the steel studs and drywall side of it. So do the insulation, which was just fiber. But they started making wood buildings because they couldn't get the steel. So we'd have to blow the attics in. So, the models we were doing were almost 11,000 square feet. So
you're doing like all of the ones in Michigan or close to it?
We were doing a lot on the west side, Traverse City, all the way down to Grand Rapids.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And, so we did like 14 stores in 23, somewhere around there.
Wow.
But we had a lot of builders that we have worked for 15 plus years.
Oh, that's nice.
My brother and I grew the business dramatically. It was, or drastically, I should say. We took the company over. We were relatively small. We grew 6 or 7 times the size we were when we started. So we started off $200,000 a year.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But we hustled. We were young.
Yeah.
So Saturdays, Sundays, midnight, 11 o'clock. We didn't care. We were
Yeah.
foaming.
So in 2019, you got the job the same day your brother passed.
So 23 is when I took the job with UPC.
Yeah, no, I'm still talking about the you got the job at the jail, at the prison.
Yeah. So I started in January of 2019. So I was working there while he passed away. So I took that job more for like retirement benefits.
Oh yeah,
down the road for future.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And then
Of course it's some state job or
yeah,
or is it a federal job?
state.
It's a state job.
Mm-hmm.
So you got all those awesome benefits. But you did that for how long?
I was there about 9 months.
Uh-huh.
Obviously before everything happened.
Yeah.
I took leave, and then I decided, I'm like, I got to make a decision. You know, corrections officers actually make decent money once you're there and you're in, but I was 9 months in, and it's like making $20 an hour.
Yeah,
family,
and you're used to making a lot more than that.
Yeah.
So what is that? What it was, mostly financial? Like that's why you decided that you were gonna
it was
hang
like
that up and go back into spray foam.
Throw the business away. We've worked too hard to get it where we are, and
were you were still spraying like on the weekends or something like that?
My brother was spraying every day.
Oh, that's right. Wait a minute. No, after he passed, when you were in the prisons.
Yeah, so I left the day he passed away, and I took leave right then. And so
it was okay. I thought you got hired the day.
No, I was there for 9 months.
That was the last day you worked, was when he passed. I got you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually had a couple other foamers in Michigan reach out to me. One particularly that I dealt with a lot. He was like, dude, anything you need. Like, we weren't close by any means. I bought material from him. He helped me. I subbed him jobs here and there, vice versa. But he's like, anything you need, my guys will take care of it. No charge. Wow. Like, just, I'll take care of you. So gained a lot of respect for him.
Yeah, we got a good community
for sure.
So then you've been running the company from 19 until 23, and then what?
So in 19, I obviously took back over. In 2020, COVID hit. You know, we kind of got shut down. Couldn't work for a bit. Actually went to Florida, worked for close to a month.
What did you do down there?
My wife's family had built a big barn dough, like 6,000 square foot barn dough house, and in a barn. So we sprayed down there for 3 weeks. Picked up a trailer on the way home. We're going to build a new rig while we were down. So picked up a new trailer on the way home and started building the rig when I got back. Built that brand new rig in 2020. It was a Reactor 2 E30.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of waited. We started working and hammering down and got busy again. And January of 2021, that new rig I built burnt to the ground.
Wow. How?
Electrical. They said, I think it was a transfer switch or something along those lines, just from right on loose. I had a shore power or hook to the generator option. So something in there. So it was like everything, you know, it was a crazy month.
Did you have a decent experience with insurance or no?
Yeah, I did. My insurance lady's great. I've been with her since my grandpa was with her when he started, and she's been awesome. So yeah, it was.
So that was gone.
Took a while. That was a Friday. Actually kind of lucky I was there, and I wasn't always.
Were you in the building spraying when it was burning up?
No, so it was my friend's barn, and normally I just send the guys out. I'll stop in and check on them throughout the day, but I just happened to be there that morning because it was one of my buddies. So I was talking and BSing, and his mother-in-law called and said, "Is there supposed to be flames coming out of the trailer?" Oh, and so I ran outside, and my main sprayer jumped in the truck, pulled it away, and sat there and watched it burn.
So he got it pulled out of the barn.
Yeah. So back up a little bit. In 2018, we did a job that burned down, a barn burned down from a different company. The company's rig caught on fire.
A different trade?
A different spray foam company sprayed this guy's barn, and their rig caught on fire. They unhooked the truck and trailer and pulled the truck away, but the trailer burned the barn down.
Yeah.
So we redid the job once the barn was rebuilt, and that was running through my head. I'm like, we have to get this away so it doesn't burn the barn down.
Yeah.
So luckily, I mean, it took my insurance company a while. I mean, it was definitely not quick. Luckily I was in a pretty good spot at that point. Like, I had a new rig and we were back up spraying the following Wednesday.
You had a new rig the next week?
Brand new rig on Wednesday. We were back spraying. So
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was definitely some help with the Spray Foam Worldwide is actually how I just put a feeler out there. Hey, I need a rig now. And someone contacted me from Texas, and we drove down Saturday morning. I left. We got there. It was Sunday morning. We got there Sunday night, Monday morning, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And then started the process Monday and drove home Tuesday. We were back spraying. So
that's great.
Yeah, it was an interesting time.
And it was a pretty similar rig, or?
Well, it was actually different. I never, I was always since we started out, we had that, it's like green machine. Then we went to electric series, and we had E20s, E30s forever. This was a GH2 that I bought in Texas. So I never sprayed with a hydraulic at all.
Okay.
Always electric, but once I switched to hydraulic, I'll never spray with electric again.
Yeah, I bet. So at the and then at the end of 2023, that was in 21, you said?
Yep.
So then a couple years later, you're spraying, doing all the normal stuff.
Yeah, and so I it's kind of always been in the back of my mind, like, doing the tech side of things once I was done foaming.
Yeah.
I've always been like, if I can help someone out, any way I can, I will.
Yeah.
So it was like, I got this opportunity in August of 23 to be a tech, and it was, it's kind of meant to be. I wasn't ready to be done foaming, but I gave quite a few customers away to another foamer in Michigan. And then I have a few customers or local people I maintain, but don't do a lot of foaming anymore.
No. So how did that come about? How did you, did they contact you?
No, actually, I seen a post on Spray Foam Worldwide.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you just contacted whoever and said, I'm interested. And
yeah, he says he's interested. There was quite a few people that contacted him and resumes, and we had a couple rounds of talks or interviews, phone interviews, and things went well. And
that was this past fall, right?
Yeah, August of 23.
Right. Just getting close to a busy season.
Yeah, absolutely. And I kept my guys going all the way through. My crew stayed on. We had quite a few contracts lined up and signed already, so he stayed on until January.
Oh, so he got the whole fall.
Yeah, because
all the good stuff.
Had quite a bit of work on the books to do to finish. And then after that, I'm like, well, we kind of slow down, do our thing. It's just two of us,
Yeah. What did you do? Did you mostly new homes or pole barns or?
A lot of new homes, a lot of pole barns. I didn't get into much commercial. I did a few pretty big commercial projects, but it's a rat race with commercial. There's definitely good money in it, but it's like, do your job, wait 90 days, wait 100 days. It's like,
yeah, that's one thing that really kind of drove me to not want to do it. The money's good and all that, but I don't like waiting on money.
Yeah.
When you're waiting, it just seems like the longer you wait, the less likely you are to actually get it.
That, it's almost like you stretch it out so far. It's like, well, that's already gone because you took it from this profit to this one. So it's like,
yeah. And then you're kind of maybe having to borrow from the distributors and like that. And, and they say that commercials just crazy right now.
Mm-hmm.
Commercials just crazy right now. But yeah. It takes guts
for sure.
It definitely takes guts, but there's a lot of people that do it and a lot of people that do well at it. And
yeah, there's definitely good opportunities. It's just, you got to have that. The way I found is we would do a few commercial a year, but it would be more of like you had to stack houses or homeowners around it.
Yeah. To get that money flow. To keep the money flowing. Yeah.
So,
yeah. So, where's UPC out of?
We're out of Arlington, Texas.
A lot of foam in Texas.
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of foam there. So, well, let's talk about your military.
Yeah. So I joined in 2007. Just really wasn't on board with the school thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't, my parents were divorced growing up. So I actually lived with my grandma and grandpa.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, wow.
So that's kind of how I got put to work.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they raised me. Couldn't really afford to send me through college, So
you and your brother both
I
lived with
have
grandpa and
2
grandma.
brothers.
Oh, 2 brothers.
Yeah, I have a middle brother as well.
Okay.
So college was expensive, and my wife and I lived together at that point, and I was like, well, it's expensive.
You guys both went to college together or no?
Yeah, we both went to LC.
Okay.
And so I joined the military because of the schooling.
Yeah.
And
you get the school money and yeah. So what'd you do in the military?
So I was MP, basically a Master at Arms. I joined in 2007, and 2008, March of 2009, I went on college spring break to Mexico. I came home and I had orders that said, you're leaving in 12 days. Get your affairs in order. So my wife and I were planning on getting married that October. So we got married at the courthouse in March, 15 years ago. So you
got married before you deployed then?
Yeah, it was before I deployed. So
that's good because you get better. You get treated a little better if you're married in the military.
More housing allowance.
You get better places to live and a lot of that stuff.
And then she got some benefits and stuff as well. And so
where'd you go?
I went to Iraq in 2009. We worked the oil platforms, and then in Basra at the port.
Okay.
It's cool. It's interesting.
So when you say work the oil platforms, what does that mean?
There's a big oil platform, 50 miles off the coast. There's big tankers that come in, so you'd protect them so other countries wouldn't
try to blow them up or whatever.
Yep.
Interesting. And you were there for how long?
I was there 11 months, and then came home
in 2010.
2010. My son was born in 10.
Oh.
And then 11, I got orders again. I thought I was going to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba.
Really?
And ended up going to, was it Bagram, Afghanistan? And we went to prison there. We did security for the prison.
You talking about prisoners of war prison or they're criminals?
There was some Russian prisoners in there. I mean, there's all kinds of whatever prisoners, but I didn't work in the prison, so I was just perimeter security.
Gotcha.
Guard the base, all that stuff. But then I came home in 13. So I was 12. I came home. My daughter was born in 13. And then cool thing. My daughter was born in 13. When I was in Afghanistan, I found out that my wife's uncle that lives in Florida, the one that actually sprayed his job in 2020.
The barndemonium, or barndemonium.
He needed a kidney, so I was like, I think I'm probably a match. And
you said you think you are a match?
I think I'm probably a match.
I look like I'm kind of we have the same personality.
So I went home on leave and got tested, and I was actually a match. 4 out of 5 check marks on the boxes, whatnot, which is very rare if you're not blood related.
Yeah.
So then I put in a request to donate my kidney 3 times. My COs were like, no way. So I took leave and donated my kidney.
Whoa.
And I came back. My contract was up, so they're just like, you can't resign.
Because of that?
Because of that. So I was medically unable.
Is it more because of the fact that you don't only have one kidney now, or is it more because you defied orders?
Probably both.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't really affect you to have one kidney. I mean, it affects you a little bit, but essentially your kidneys grow until you're 30 years old, and then you lose 1% to 2% kidney function a year for a normal, healthy life.
Yeah.
So you're at 100% at 30. Well, I donated a kidney at 25. So my other kidney is going to grow bigger than I normally would. And so now at 30, I'm at 90% instead of 100. And I lose 1% to 2% a year. So.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I have to get checked up every year, blood work, stuff like that. But
how's he doing?
He's doing really good. It'll be 11 years this December. We did it on December 31st, 2013. Michigan State was in the Rose Bowl. Oh,
you remember that? Because you were in the hospital watching it?
It's
funny how you remember things like that. Yeah. Because, sometimes I think people can kind of burn through kidneys, can't they?
Yeah, so it all depends on making sure You take the right medicine for compatibility, because obviously different blood, different bodies and stuff. So make sure you take your medicine, and then dieting, not necessarily dieting, but eating healthy, eating the right things, not fatty things or different. He's got a thing all set up, but his kidney function is better now than when he was 20.
Wow.
So
what else is there anything that you have to do to kind of just be careful, or are you just do whatever, you just live a normal life?
Yeah, basically they said if I was healthy enough to donate, then I can live the life the way I was living.
Yeah.
Don't drink energy drinks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're terrible.
I know kidneys. They're terrible, but it's for your kidneys, huh?
Yeah. Yep.
There's a lot of people that drink a lot of energy drinks. That takes up a lot of shelf space in the gas stations.
For sure.
That's crazy. So now you're at UPC. I made a little joke that you're a professor. So I went to the one you had about 3 or 4 weeks ago at SPI, the old Foam Direct in Durand, Michigan. Used to be in Fowlerville with the kettles. And so I got invited to it, and I was like, I've been doing this for about 5.5 years, but I'm like, I'm sure there's stuff I could learn still, and so not only that, I really just like to network, to be honest with you. That's why I'm doing this, because it's just fun to talk to people, get to know people, and make new friends and everything. So I'm like, hey, I'll go. And so you were teaching, did a fantastic job. So day 1 is classroom, then a test. I didn't get my results yet. Man, I'm hoping I passed. Did I pass?
If you didn't hear, you probably didn't.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, did they I'm like, man, I hope I pass. Well, anyway.
No, it takes us a little bit. We grade them, so it takes us a little bit, and we get them out to you.
So there's like a 30 question test at the end, and if you pass, you get a certificate, and if you don't pass, you don't hear anything. Nobody says anything. So
you were never here.
Yeah, I was never here. But and it's mostly, I noticed I think most of the class was pretty new, people that have been in for probably 2 years or less, it seemed like.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun, and I recommend it to anybody. These things, you guys are putting these things on like all over the place.
Yeah, so that's one reason, not to go too far into it, why I took the job with UPC as a tech, is they really believe in the industry. They want the industry to be better.
Yeah.
That's what they've portrayed to me.
Yeah.
And then even with doing this, like, if you can come here and learn one thing or 2 things to make you a better foamer, it's making our industry better.
It's a couple days, and and it's
And like you said, even foaming, I'm sure you learned a couple things.
Yeah, of course.
Like, and I've always said, and I always will say it, if you get 10 foamers in the room with 1 to 50 years experience, everyone's still going to learn something.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes everybody better. And, for shout out to UPC and great job on doing all that, because, like you said, whether people are using UPC or not, everybody's welcome, which is great. And if everybody does better in the industry, it just makes the whole industry better.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's great. So you've been around quite a bit. They've taken you around the country a little bit to teach these.
Yeah. So I'm not, all of the techs are, we're regionally placed. There's 11 of us now, I believe. So we're kind of all over. So we handle all the classes in our region. Okay.
And then you're also going to contractors and helping them out with things. What do you find is it like most of the issues that you run into when you go and help out a tech?
People's guns.
Yeah, that's it. That's totally it.
That, or just, a lot of guys just really don't understand just reading foam. It's something it's hard.
It's an art. It takes time.
Exactly. So it's, you get guys have been spraying 2 years and everything looks fine, and but you just teach them little tips and tricks, and it clicks, right? It's like it's like riding a bike. Mm-hmm. Eventually it just clicks and you can do it. So once a couple tips and tricks of just learning to read it and seeing what your foam's doing, and then, it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. That's why it's slow, or that's why it's fast, or you know.
You were showing some thick foam that you sprayed real thick, some closed cell, and you could see, and I guess I haven't really looked at it that thoroughly, but you could see where the some of it, the first couple inches is real good, and then like after a while, it starts like those bubbles, those cells get long.
Yeah, so it's one of like
something I never really noticed
favorite
before.
things to do on jobs is because every contractor says, "Oh, you have a 2-inch lift, then we can push it to 3, or if you have a 3-inch lift, we can push it to 4." So I like to do that to show them that the physical characteristics actually change, and that's why we have this max pass. Like you heard me say it in the class, like just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it. Like the foam will physically do it, but you know, it's not made to go past the max pass.
Right. And like what you were saying too, you're just because it looks good doesn't mean it is good.
Exactly.
I mean that's very true. Yeah, and that one of those questions on that test, I got a little. I must have missed it in the classroom, but one of the questions was, what's the maximum maximum pass? And I got a little hung up because, a lot of them are around 3 inches, and you didn't have a 3-inch answer. You had a 2 or 4. So I'm going, okay, this is either 4 inches. They're saying that they can, because UPC is putting this on. I'm like, either they're bragging because they can go to 4, or they're overly leery about 2, and some, I don't remember what I put down, but 2 inches was the right answer. Yeah. So that's something a lot of the new guys really need to know, because we've all been told about going too thick, and we've all been told that if you go too thick, it'll char and it'll burn. And it's easy to kind of wonder, I don't know. This is spraying just fine. I've sprayed 3 inches here. It's just fine. It's no big deal. And then there's a lot of companies that are trying to push that you can spray it thicker and thicker and thicker.
Yep.
And it's definitely something that we need to really pay attention to. And even for me, like I said, because I was kind of naive in the beginning too. There was times where I sprayed, 4 inches or whatever, and everything seemed fine.
Yep.
But you need to listen to the chemists and listen to the companies.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they obviously every company does testing to see where their parameters are and what their limits are, and they're that for a reason. They're not just made up numbers that they want to put down.
Right. And it's easy to think, well, this foam company is really just covering their butt. So they're kind of, even though you can spray thicker, they're going to say you can't spray quite as thin just to cover their butt in case. And that's not necessarily it. We need to.
It's literally that the dimensional stability starts changing. Like you've seen it.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it with my own eyes for the first time. Is when you explained it and showed it to me. I'm like, okay, I see that now. That makes total sense. Right. Yeah. That's good stuff.
This is also stuff that I didn't know 100% until I became a tech.
So you've been doing this for 20 years.
Exactly.
You're now a tech, and you're now being taught this, and you're like, wow, okay. And then you're teaching it too. So yeah, that's great. So what was let's say most fun, the best city that you've been to so far that you enjoyed the most?
Oh, probably somewhere in Montana.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love Montana.
That's awesome. Yeah, well, you're an outdoorsman.
Yeah, I like to go up there.
Big sky.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, go out there. I've drove through Yellowstone Glacier all the way up there. Usually, so I try to find something fun to do when I'm on the road. You go to visit a customer and you spend the day with them.
Yeah.
And then you're free until the next day if you're going to visit them again or go visit another customer, whatever it may be. So try to just go find fun stuff to do. Whatever cities. I just drove around Yellowstone and to check stuff out. But I went to I was in Boston.
Yeah, we were like the week after. Yeah, we were in Durant.
And I went to Fenway out there. So I'm a huge sports guy. So anytime I get a chance to see sports, like the Minneapolis, I went to a Timberwolves game. Just cool stuff,
Nice.
But yeah, Montana is definitely up there. It's my favorite.
Yeah, I bet. You're a big sports guy.
Yeah, I do love sports. It's all I really watch in my house.
You watch a lot of sports. I can't. I used to like to watch sports, but it's just getting too woke for me.
Yeah, I really, really love college sports. That's more of my thing. Like I love
college football
Saturdays. My thing is March Madness. There's nothing.
That's fun.
There's nothing better.
I don't watch any. I don't watch any basketball during the season. Really, it's just I don't know. It's not my thing. But every March Madness, my wife and I fill out a bracket. She don't watch it at all. She picks because the team is like kind of cool, like Gonzaga or she'll be like, oh, that's a nice name, so she'll pick it. I mean, she does look at the seed number, and sometimes she'll pick an upset, because of the name she likes. So it started out that we would bet like something nice, like I'd get her whatever, I don't know, like some flowers or something like that. If she wins, she give me a 6-pack of some craft beer. If I win, we don't really even do the gifts anymore, but we still do the bracket, and it's fun. I always beat her.
Yeah, so I try to go to quite a few games. Like I've been to Sweet 16s, Elite Eights, Final Four. Been to mostly Michigan State stuff. I try to go if they're doing well.
Michigan State is your team in Michigan.
Yeah,
Michigan versus Michigan State. It's quite a rivalry.
So I was there when they beat Duke and DC.
Oh, wow.
In the Elite Eight to go to the Final Four. And my son and I went to Final Four in Minneapolis. Been to when they played in the college football playoff in Dallas. I went to that. They got throttled by Alabama.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's actually so. My wife's uncle, the one that I donate kidney to, is kind of our thing.
Oh.
Is every year we go do something together. It's Michigan State usually. We'll go to a basketball game, or we'll spend a weekend together. No kids, no wives, just
awesome,
just hanging out.
Yeah.
So this year we're going on spring break to Outer Banks,
North Carolina, South Carolina,
North Carolina. And my wife and kids, and we were on our way down, and Michigan State was playing in North Carolina. So
it just happened to be they were playing there when you were there.
And so cool. I just told my wife, I said, let's get tickets. So we stopped, and on our way down, and all of us went to the game together. So
fun,
cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how's is Grandpa still around?
No, Grandpa passed away 2020.
2020.
So the year after my brother passed away.
Okay. Yeah. Man, that's kind of a tough time for you. Jeez.
Yeah, it was definitely a crazy time. Like I said, my wife is my person, so she's helped me through a lot.
Yeah, no doubt. And then how about Grandma?
She passed away actually when I was deployed in Afghanistan. She used to make my whole unit cookies.
Oh,
I was laughing about
Grandma's cookies.
Your grandma's
cookies. Oh, you're laughing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, I wish.
So to preface that, I gave James an overview of this podcast, and just to bring in something. And so if you're going to be on this podcast, the beer was something I was like, hey, just bring in something that you really love, something that we can talk about. And so that's when he brought this Sheboygan Brewing Dark Cherry Blonde Ale. That's what it is. So if anybody wants to try it, we have a lot of beer in Michigan. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so I was just thinking, like, if you want to bring in things like your garden pickles, or your favorite beer, or Grandma's chocolate chip cookies. So that's what he was thinking about. That he was like, oh man, if Grandma was alive, I'd definitely bring those in.
Yeah, she'd make them every month. She'd send over priority mail boxes and just stack full.
Yeah, so they were still good by the time they got to you.
Yeah, there was packed bread in there before them, so they were soft.
She put bread in there to retain the moisture, to absorb the moisture. That's great. Let's see here. Let's get to some fast questions. If you could travel time, would you go to the future or past, and who would you try to meet?
That's a good one.
I mean, you could do the future. You can meet like your great grandkids, but you could also go back and meet Jesus or Elvis or.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I know some of these questions are it's kind of hard to do on a podcast, because you're like, you kind of you don't want a whole lot of dead space, but there's a lot of thinking in some of them.
Yeah, I'd say I'd probably go to the future, see what my kids are in the future, and kind of see how we raise them right to be good adults and good humans. Yeah,
good one. Good answer. Who helped you the most to become a better spray foam installer? I mean, this probably wouldn't be your grandpa, because he didn't do a lot of it.
No, I would say my brother.
Really?
We're really, really competitive.
Okay.
So we would always try to get to who could be better.
That makes sense. So you're
No,
like,
super
look at
com-
my phone. No, look at mine's better than yours.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. That's cool. That makes sense. It's kind of a different answer than I expected because most people would think of like a helper or even someone like you that travels around or whatever. What's your favorite sitcom of all time? Well, tough one, huh?
Yeah, that's a real tough one.
We can come back to it if you want, or
Yeah.
we can skip it. If you were to buy a new toy, what would it be?
Well, that's my current problem is I
Oh.
have too many toys.
Oh, do you? What do you have?
I got a boat. I got a Harley. I got a side by side. I buy.
Oh, you've been spraying for a long time.
I get a new truck every year.
Do you really?
Brand new one.
You get a new truck every year?
Yeah. My wife gives me grief about it.
You know what's funny? Because another question on here says, "What do you do that drives your spouse crazy?"
buys new trucks.
Buys a new truck.
I probably had like 250 vehicles in my life, maybe 300.
Holy cow! How do you do that?
I don't know.
I mean, you're going to the Secretary of State all the time. You're paying.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money in sales tax.
I have
You're funding our roads here in
vehicles right now.
You have 4 right now?
Yeah.
So that'd be like your personal run around. What do you got? Like a toy car?
I got a older Mustang that's parked in the garage.
What year?
It's a 94.
Okay.
I searched for a long time, 31,000 miles on it.
Wow.
So that, and then I got a 23 Ram 1500, and I drive for going to the airport, and if I'm going out for work now, then I have a AT4 2500.
Oh, GMC.
Yeah.
Right. You got a GMC and a Ram. There's not too many people that would have
Ram's cheap.
Ram's cheap. You got the AT4, or either one of them? Are they both diesel?
No, I actually just traded in my. Well, that's what my wife would complain about. Is I just traded in my Denali Duramax and bought this one as gas.
Oh yeah,
because I'm not pulling the trailer every day anymore.
Yeah, you don't want a diesel unless you need it.
Yeah, I mean, so when I'm pulling the trailer every day, yes, but
Yeah.
now I'm not. So
I there's no way that I would own a diesel if I didn't need it. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're awesome, but if you got to fix them, and then all the DEF stuff, and it's like it's just gas is definitely better if you're not pulling much. Have you ever worked for someone famous?
I did some work on what used to be Art Van furniture store.
Yeah,
did a bunch of work on their house up in Charlevoix, Petoskey area.
Oh yeah,
big pad.
I bet.
Helicopter pad on the roof. And,
yeah.
Probably. Yeah, I don't. I'm sure there's been some other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think of them, but
nice. I was going to say, like, one question, what would you be doing if you weren't doing foam? But you're not really doing foam. You're doing exactly what you kind of wanted to do.
Yeah. So,
or what would you do if you weren't doing any of this?
Yeah. So kind of like we talked about, like I fell out of love with it, and that's kind of why I took this job, and it's really made me fall back in love with foam again. Now I don't see myself doing anything else. I really enjoy helping people.
Yeah.
If I can come out to your job for a day and teach you one or two things that makes your life so much easier and makes you better,
it's perfect. I mean, it's like you're doing the job that a lot of us aspire to be. And you see a lot. They're definitely getting more techs out there, which is great. All the companies are, or at least a lot of them are. You're getting a lot more techs out there, which is really, really nice. And of course, I mean, it's kind of one of those things. I mean, if you're going to buy foam from a company, it's definitely, even if you got to spend a little bit more to get a name brand, a company that has tech reps out there that will send them, like, as soon as they can get one out there. Sometimes, I mean, you guys are out there in just a day or two.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't, in my mind, it doesn't matter if it's $200, $300 more a set. If you have support and service, I mean, what is that?
Yeah.
If you have support when you need it, and they can get you back up and running or help you or make you better, make you more efficient. I mean, obviously we want all of our people to succeed. If you're better and spray more foam, then
it makes everybody, it makes you better. And that, like I said, they're going to go on, social media and talk about how awesome you guys are in particular.
Yeah.
Talk about how great your foam is. I mean, it's really cheap advertising for them.
Yeah.
To just have you guys around. So that's awesome. You see, we're starting to see a lot more of that on social media. A lot of these veterans that have been in for a while are picking up these jobs with these big companies. So congratulations for that. That's awesome. All right, well, let's wrap this up. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. It was fun.
Yeah, it was great having a good conversation. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, like. If you're in and around Michigan this summer, if you're going to take a vacation or something here, hit me up, because here's the thing: is I'm kind of trying to do this in a sense where I've got a lot of people from Michigan that I can call on and get out here. Some of them I'm kind of leaving in my back pocket for times where I can't get some other people from other parts of the country. So if I can get some other people from other parts of the country, that would be fantastic. And if you want to fly out here, that's fine too. As long as you do it on your own dime, because I'm not making any money doing this. That would be awesome, actually, if you did. But those of you that are in Michigan, I'm getting to you. Just be patient, because I don't want to get people that are just from here. And eventually, like I said, I'd like to take this on the road. We'll see if that happens. That'd be awesome if it did. My goal would be to get it to go all around. And I'm thinking about maybe, if possible, at some of these meetups we have, to maybe do some there, like, I don't know, in a hotel room or something. So anyway, until next time, goodbye.